Welcome to Vator Box. I'm B&B Francisco.
And I'm Ezra Roizen.
This week, our guest host once again is Noah Doyle. He's the managing partner at Javelin Venture Partners, which is an early stage venture firm. Noah, thanks for joining us.
My pleasure. Thank you.
This week, we're going to take a look at AirBnB. This is a fun company. This company wants to be the eBay of space. Let's take a look.
Well, we are Airbnb. My name is Brian Chesky. I'm one of the co-founders.
And I'm Nathan Blacharczyk. I'm also one of the co-founders.
So we like to say that Airbnb is the eBay of space. We allow people in over 1,050 cities and over 76 countries to list their extra space by the night, whether it's just a private airbed in a living room, a couch, maybe it's an entire apartment, maybe it's a water villa in Malaysia, an inn, a bed and breakfast. So it can be anything between couch surfing and a hotel. So the way we make money is we facilitate all transactions through our site. So if a traveler wants to book a room, just like you want to book a room on Expedia or another website, you put in your credit card information or your PayPal information. We take a 10% commission on top of the price of booking. And so that's the way we make money. We take a 10% transaction fee off the front. And we hold the money, and then we pay out the traveler or the host once the traveler checks in. So we're approaching 25,000 users in over like 1,000, I think last count, 36 cities in 76 countries.
Yes, we all want to know where that private airbed is.
Okay, I'm sticking to the format. Pitch, I think the pitch is excellent. I think they're engaging. I think they're entertaining. I think you get the concept. And I think you for a short pitch, I think you basically get what they're doing.
Yeah, I think they did a great job too. Brian does a good job just kind of cutting right to the chase. It's good.
Yeah. Noah, I'll let you speak to novelty.
I think it's novel. I can't say I've ever heard of a similar site. It reminds me a little bit of Home Away and some of the the home for vacation rentals. Mm-hmm. But it's obviously sort of a new. You could maybe describe it as a new. They're trying to find the floor in this market.
Literally.
New race to the bottom. But it's definitely creative.
It's creative. You know what this reminds? The novelty, yes, very novel in the travel space, but there is a company you might recall, Zillow, which was peer-to-peer lending, and as we talked earlier, this in another era, this would have been called peer-to-peer renting.
Sure.
But so Zillow was about renting everything, including, remember, your friend's slippers and socks and stuff. Right. And the problem with Zillow, and I'm sure they're doing really well right now, is that it's a little confused. You don't really know who it's for. There's, you can do share or rent a number of things. This is just space.
Yeah, this is really frankly, it's tough to rent your extra saw or something. So where that had all kinds of issues with getting the products back and forth. Where this is simply a very an alternative to staying in a hotel. Right. And I think there's obviously a number of challenges with this model, but at the same time, people love staying at youth hostels. They love staying in community, and if you can find people who share affinity with you, and maybe you arrive in a city and you're a very social person, staying at their house may be great. But I think there's absolutely a social aspect to this, because I think you could end up staying at the wrong person's house on every possible front. And if they listened to Anthrax at 3 a.m., it turned up to level 10. You may decide that wasn't necessarily the perfect experience, but it also might be the perfect experience.
But you wouldn't know that if you went to a place and just went to a hostel, which you said this is a nice alternative to that, and definitely a nice alternative to a hotel, which can be 5 times more expensive or a couple, twice as much.
Timing may be right. It's the new barter economy. And,
So what about the model?
I think you want to plug into some, mass murderer checking database, or Rottweiler, or whatever maybe that also confirms exactly where it is you're staying. But I think if you can get around some of those issues, my guess is there's no reason why this can't work. And also, are there any regulatory issues? I don't know if there's any hospitality regs that you got to sort of stay within. But inside of that. Frankly, if you could even do it within the community of people you knew or friends of friends. I think this is like almost an aardvark of staying, where aardvark is asking questions and getting answers. If you could apply this into known quantities, Because if you do the 6 degrees separation, you probably know somebody somewhere who has an extra room. There may be an interesting way to do it that way, which gets the sort of credibility.
That's good. So partnerships, distribution, where should they go? I was thinking offbeat guides would be kind of a
Offbeat's
new,
great.
cool way
Yeah.
to, hear all the spaces, rooms for rent in the area that you're going. But what other distribution models do you think? No.
I think the social networking sites would make great sense, build an app for Facebook, especially because the social graph is probably the right place to look, and maybe LinkedIn too, because you might as well make some professional contacts, while you're meeting new people in a new city,
Sure, it's
borrowing their
professional.
couch
Borrowing their
surfing.
couch, yeah.
Well, they launched at the DNC, so Democratic National Convention.
Right.
So
Yeah,
that's
events
professional,
actually are
that's
perfect
social.
marketing because hotels sell out, people need a place to stay, everyone's there for the same reason.
Yeah, and it's
What
finding
about-
efficiency. I mean,
and
it's finding
business model
efficiency
sounds-
in an area where there's huge inefficiency. I mean, you've
Right.
got to figure the number of rooms per night in any city that are unused
Yeah.
is huge. And
Okay.
so the opportunities, clearly, the supply side is there. It's aggregating the demand in an effective way that is the challenge. It seems like they have an interesting approach to it.
What about the business model? 10% of every transaction fee. Probably a good start.
Sure.
Yeah, it seems like there might be a collection challenge there. Where does the money change hands and how do they, make sure they get their fee and,
It's
can
probably
people,
a PayPal kind of model is my guess or something like that.
yeah, I guess if they collect the money through the site.
Yeah.
You and eBay also has that challenge that sometimes you have off-site transactions where the buyer and seller know who each other are.
Right.
And they have to worry about enforcing that.
Who's a good acquirer for this company?
Oh, I think lots of travel sites. I think lots of social media companies. I mean, I think if they can get it really rolling, there's lots of acquirers. Call
I
me.
do too. So call Ezra for acquisition, but Noah for investment. This company's only raised $20,000, and they're doing quite well. So what do you think? Would you invest in them? Would you put $1 million?
Well, this is one where clearly they're filling a gap. It's innovative. It might be somewhat easy to copy, so they have to worry about that. If they can move quickly to build their community of users, get some of those partnerships locked up, then they'll start to build a moat around it. In terms of investment, I'd probably say it's better for them, better for the team to bootstrap it a while. Because if they take investment too early before they demonstrate that the market can be big enough, they're going to be signing up for a kind of a very high risk kind of growth pattern. And if they can build it for a while on a bootstrap basis, demonstrate the market's really there, both to themselves and to investors, that probably makes the most sense. At the early stage, it's probably too soon to build a strong investment thesis without knowing more about how big this market could really be. They have to really show it working and show it can get beyond kind of a certain community.
Right. No, I think that's fair. And I think, these, as I always say, keep the hurdle low, push off raising money as long as possible, focus on just getting the user base there. This is one of those things that really has the potential of being viral. I also think they need a starter kit.
They need a starter kit. We'll end with that. They need, since every travel outfit always provides some starter kit. We thought that they would need like little shampoos, like really tiny.
What do we have here? We have conditioner.
AirBnB toothpaste.
Toothpaste. Is this body wash and
Yeah,
shampoo?
Body wash.
Oh, that makes
And a
sense.
tiny little hair
toothbrush and
protector thingy.
We're
So
going for
that's the only thing
economy.
you're missing, Brian.
Yeah,
so
tiny. So they
little,
can send every time someone signs up, they get a little box in the mail with a tiny little packet for their little Airbnb.
Exactly. Stick it on your pillow.
Yeah.
Exactly. So if you gave any advice, at least take that away, because I think that's actually good advice. Okay. Thank you, Ezra. Thank you, Noah.
My pleasure. Thank you.
And Airbnb guys, hopefully you took something away from this discussion. So that's it for Vator Box. I'm Bambi Francisco. We'll see you next time on Vator News.